Hello everyone, welcome back to Spar&Brawl. So we just made a video on the Iranian elections, but there are also elections, parliamentarian elections going on in Armenia today. So Sam is just going to tell us a little bit about it, including what it could mean, what impact it could have on Nagorno-Karabakh. So Sam, please go ahead.
To be fair, I think you should more frame it as in what impact the Nagorno-Karabakh war has had on the political system of the Armenia. So just to give a little bit of a background, Armenia was ruled by a group of elites who came from Nagorno-Karabakh. The group emerged after the war that followed the collapse of the Soviet Union, and they were from the Nagorno-Karabakh or Artasek, as Armenians call it, region. And they were in charge for about 2 decades in Armenia. Then you had a sort of what they call Velvet Revolution in Armenia, which Nikol Pashinyan sort of headed. He was a journalist, and they were for freedom of speech and more anti-corruption activities and more social freedoms. And then they achieved that. And by the way, Nagorno-Karabakh, while controlled and largely assumed to be part of Armenia, itself considered itself an independent republic. So it wasn't part of Armenia. And even though Armenia did have a security cooperation pact with Russia, nobody, by the way, recognized the republic of Arstak or Nagorno-Karabakh besides the Armenian government. So then you had the recent war last year, in which Azerbaijan, with the help of, especially with the help of Turkish military, managed to regain significant amounts of land from the Armenian side. And they also managed to establish a corridor from Nakhchivan area, which is a sort of an exclave of Azerbaijan, to mainland Azerbaijan. So that's the background. And the defeat for Armenians was a massive shock, and was a massive disappointment. They had won the previous wars, so it was very sad for them. But at the same time, the reality on the ground seemed to suggest that they had no choice in terms of the overwhelming force from the Azerbaijani side, supported by Turkey, and Russia not being fully on their side. And this is what reporters report, what Armenians feel, that the complete abandonment by West, which by West they especially mean France and the US, where there is large minorities of Armenians there. And they were counting on some support from there. All they got was lip service, really. So today, Sunday, 20th of June, they are holding parliamentary elections. This is the third time in 4 years that they're holding elections. As I mentioned earlier, there has been all these velvet revolutions and things going on. And the elections this time has been the campaigns have been very negative, and people, even the Armenian president, I'm reading, this is from Al Jazeera, Armenian President Armen Sarkisian, largely a ceremonial figure, decried attempts, direct quote, to incite hatred and enmity, and urged law enforcement to prevent any violation. So it's been a very hard-fought campaign and very divisive campaign. 3 former Armenian presidents, Leon Petrosyan, Robert Kucharian, and Serge Sarkisian, are all standing in these elections. But the main opponent, the person who's at least who's at least positioned himself as the main opponent, is Robert Kucharian. Robert Kucharian was removed from power through that velvet revolution of some sort. Him and his allies have been mired in allegations of corruption, and they are seen as as a slightly more pro-Moscow than Pashinyan. Although some people have been trying to say that he's the pro-Moscow candidate and Pashinyan isn't. From the reports I was reading from Armenia, news outlets and analysts, it seems that, again, in foreign policy, there seems to be a consensus among Armenians that they should increase their cooperation with Russia because it's the only ally they can count on. And Kucharian is capitalizing on his good relations in previous years with the leaders of Russia and even to a lesser extent Turkish leaders, and says that I'm the man. And he's making big claims. He's saying he's going to take back big areas of Nagorno-Karabakh through negotiations, through war. It's not clear. So he's making big claims. Pashinyan has said that he expects his civil contract party to secure 60% of the vote. Most analysts agree that his party will probably win, but probably with far less than 60% of the votes. And his campaign has focused on the fact that if he keeps saying that whatever decision you make is your decision, but remember that this might, like if we go, this might be because by most analysts, this is viewed as probably the most free election Armenia has had since early 1990s, when Soviet Union collapsed and before the war with Azerbaijan took hold of the country. Basically, it seems to be a big fight between Kucharian and Pashinyan, and right now most analysts think that Pashinyan will win, but Kucharian has grown significantly in the polls from 5% to 25% now. And he has Kucharian and most of his team, people who support him, they are from Nagorno-Karabakh region, while Pashinyan is from mainland Armenia. So everybody says it's going to be a close call, and we'll see the result. And there are fears of clashes following the announcement of the results and stuff. Sir Petrosyan, one of the former presidents and opponents of Pashinyan, has already warned that there may be violence, and that may be partially due to the fact that Pashinyan has already called for celebrations and protests for the day following the announcement of the results. So it's a bit of a tense situation. Hopefully it will come to a very calm transition of power, or not. Pashinyan wins. And personally, I think, to be fair, while I think Pashinyan didn't do very well during the Nagorno-Karabakh conflict, he could have been far more active in seeking the help from Russia. But I doubt anybody else could have done much differently. And Robert Kucharian was himself part of a team that was sent to Moscow as a sort of a negotiating team to drum up support from Russia. But I think Russia's entanglement with Azerbaijani gas, oil, and establishment, I don't think, he's accused of losing Nagorno-Karabakh and stuff. I doubt he could have done much better. And frankly, I haven't done a deep dive on his economic policies because Armenia is in economic crisis right now, but I don't know how much of it is that due to him or the war and all that. So it's a very uneducated guess, but my guess would be that Pashinyan might be a slightly better candidate in terms of stability and peace for the region and for Armenia. I haven't studied the economy called performance of Pashinyan and all that.
Okay, all right, brilliant, great stuff, Sam. So I really don't know much in this area, so this was a brilliant overview for me. So if anybody else and if the viewers have any questions, comments, criticisms, anything you want to add, please leave them in the comment section.
But by the time most people probably watch this, some of results may have come out, because at the time of recording, I think the polls have just closed. So we'll see.
Yeah.
I hope people care.
Okay, brilliant. Okay, thank you very much for watching. So please leave your comments, question, criticism down below, and we'll make sure to get to them. But if not, please like and subscribe, and we'll see you in our next video. Thank you.
Thank you.